Hello, this is Xsource of the forums and the BM Bunker videos, Paint Inverter, Nature's Ninja, and TB. And today I'm going to be doing a guide for my TB spec and an updated guide for BM Bunker. Since the last guide, things have changed slightly, but I figured I'd go ahead and just update it slightly and everything. A few of the people have actually seen my TB videos, which is an Asura only racial. It's a Technobabble. What this ability does, as you can see, is a 3-second daze. It's instant cast. You can actually cast this while you're stunned, no less. It's got 1200 range, 45-second cooldown. It's not super amazing, but what makes it work so great with the Ranger is the fact that we have a trait called Moment of Clarity. Gain an opportunity attack for you and your pet on interrupting a foe. Daze and stun durations that are inflicted last longer. The duration right now is 50% for dazes, and it'll be 100% next patch, or the patch after that, for stuns, which I won't affect Technobabble. What this does is it increases Technobabble to 5 seconds, basically. So it's a 5-second daze. Now, 5-second daze is very, very nasty in this game, and you can pair it with certain rune sets to make it even more nasty, or you can just use it for CC as well. This will also improve weapons such as Hilt Bash on the Greatsword and Concussion Shot on the short bow, which, that'll also be, I think it's like a 2-second stun for both of them next when they improve it here soon. Rune sets right now, I am currently using the Traveler rune set. The other rune set that you can actually use with this setup is Perplexity, and it makes it incredibly powerful because Technobabble basically becomes a 5-second, 5 stacks of confusion along with your short bow and everything. So you're able to stack confusion very, very quickly. The only problem with that is you pretty much have to run Signet of the Hunt with that setup, and Signet of the Hunt is, it's not bad, but it does take the utility slot up, and if you've ever fought like warriors nowadays, they have a lot of stuns, so you pretty much need a stun breaker nowadays. Well, if you run that setup, you can't have a stun breaker. So that's why I've kind of switched over to Traveler, even though Perplexity is much, much better for damage. I wish I could run Perplexity, but I can't anymore. Traveler actually works pretty good with the setup that I run because I've actually built it's a part Celestial, part Cleric's armor setup, so this actually improves my damage, as you can see over here in my stats. I don't have any food right now, which I'll pop some to give you an idea. So I got 901 condition damage right now with 38% chance to crit and 88 crit damage, which that's nothing to sneeze at. My condition duration 60%, which really only 50% really matters. Generally, what I do is I run the helm. I think it's gloves, and then boots is like cleric's armor, and then like the leggings and chest piece, and I think also the shoulders. I run shoulders as clerics, but leggings and chest piece I run as celerity, not celerity, celestial, and I run celestial weapons, as you can see. Celestial on my jewelry, as you can see. This gives me a good basis of stats. I mean, decent toughness and decent HP, decent chance to crit. My condition damage is pretty good. My power is kind of crappy, but I make up for that with using Sigil of Bloodlust, which, it'll bump it up to about, I think it's like 1800 max. If you're in World versus World, it actually increases even more if you go up and get the ranks. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm working on it. That'll be an extra 100 power and an extra 100 condition damage there. I'm working on. I've got defensive guard, so that's an extra 2,500 HP when I get that, which helps. Trait-wise, we're looking at. I still run the marksman because that's got 100 power and 10 condition duration. That's less useful now, but before when I was running perplexity, that was actually useful. But power is always useful for this build. opening strike, that's, I mean, it seems like it sucks, but you got to remember it's basically covering your other conditions. And just look at it that way. Malicious training, as always, I run spiders. They're not super as good as my other build right now, but you know they immobilize. I don't know. Well, it says 7 seconds, but this thing is really only 4 seconds. It's just a tooltip error. But yeah, that going off plus all the stuns and CC makes spiders very, very nasty with this build. So that's why I run malicious training. Under skirmishing, you get the swiftness, you know, and weapon swap. When you're weapon swapping a lot, you get the fury, which, you know, that gives you even more. It makes up for your crit chance basically. But I run sharpened edges. I think the chance to crit on this is like probably about 30, maybe 50%. But it's a 3-second bleed, which, you know, that'll stack up incredibly quick. With let me find it real quick. See, I got sigil of earth on my short bow, and that means whenever someone's behind me, or I'm behind them, I mean, I will proc this one's bleed right here. Sigil of earth can go off, and so can that. So 3 bleeds can technically go off when I'm behind you if I'm shooting with short bow, which means I can stack bleeds incredibly quick with this build. I run quick draw. I mean, it's not super great. It used to be a little bit better for perplexity because I want that stun up as much more often, but it's better than nothing. Moment of clarity, that's pretty good always. Muddy terrain. A lot of people ask why I run muddy terrain. I've come repeatedly said this talent has saved me more than any other talent in the game. If you've never jumped off the side of a cliff with a Zerg chasing you, you do not know how powerful this thing is. I've killed many, many people with this. I've escaped many, many deaths because of this. If you're not running this, I pity you. Martial mastery, get around quicker on swoop. That's always more useful, especially good for zerging. Empathetic bond are really our only good condition removal, so you pretty much have to run it. Let's see here, trolls. You can run this, or you can run the healing spring. It's perfectly fine, either one. I personally prefer this one. It's a 9,000 point heal when you look at it. That's nothing to sneeze at. Sin of the Wild is, I think it heals like maybe like 101 total, which is not bad. I mean, it's sustain, and sustain is always good. Lightning reflexes, 11 seconds of vigor, even more important when they nerf this next patch. So that's always going to be useful. Technobabble, of course, that's your main CC. As you can see, I have Misfire Wolf right here. I've not really used it a whole lot with this build setup. I've been using it with my other setup, the BM Bunker build, and it is, Fox actually introduced me to this. This thing is actually really, really powerful. I was not expecting that. This thing will apply like a 20-second chill to a person, and if you've ever gotten a 20-second chill put on you, that sucks really, really bad. It also does about 6,000 damage, I think, total. So that's not a bad elite. That's actually a really good elite. You also can run Rampages 1. Usually I'll switch to this if I'm fighting warriors, because it's 23 seconds of stability with this setup, and you've got to have that when you're fighting warriors. Warriors are ridiculous right now, and it really helps. Let's see. Some of the other reasons you would run Rampages 1 is if say you're zerging around. Right now, Rangers aren't super great at zerging. This is actually the build I run while I'm in a zerg. Why? Because it's really the only thing I have. Like, being bunker's okay, it's condition based, but you'll find that you won't get a lot of like kills doing that, and it's kind of crappy for it, to be honest. So generally, if I'm going to zerg around and get like ranks or whatever and try to finish that stupid season 1 bullcrap up there, I usually switch to this setup. And what you do is when you run into, like, say a zerg versus zerg fight, you pop this, and then you just run in and spam this. Now, there's been talk of removing this freaking evade off of this ability. This right here will save you more damage than any other ability that we have in a zerg fight, because you can literally only, most fights, because of the combat lag in this game, you can spam the 1 key. That's about it. This is a cleave, so it hits multiple people, and it'll consistently like pop that evade, and anytime you see evade go off, that's damage that you have avoided. Wanting to remove this to put a evade on swoop is not going to help me. I mean, swoop is really good on its own. It's not a bad ability. It doesn't need improvement. The only thing that needs improvement right now is hilt bash, because hilt bash is that. It's awful. It's got a horrible animation, and you will very rarely land it on anyone who's not brain dead. But everything else is fine, except for maybe this. I will take a blast finisher on this right here. But yeah, this doesn't need to go away. And this is incredibly amazing for zerging around if you just want to like run in and like swing your weapon basically. Um, People have asked why I use spiders in particular and why I don't use wolves. You can actually use wolves in this setup. They do work just fine. It's a little bit weaker now that I don't have like Signet of the Hunt, so wolves won't be able to catch the target as easy. But they will work just as well. I mean, it's not a huge change. You're basically using them for the CC. I mean, that's a knockdown. That's a knockdown. That's a daze. That's a stun. That's a stun. And technically, that's a knockback. So you can chain CC someone fairly good. Like I've absolutely just like kept people in place the whole time. It's really silly. If you're fighting like I do this to thieves just because I want to be a dick about it. I will sometimes just take this off if I see a thief coming and put this on. And Sikkim now does the revealed. So what I'll do is I will open with the fights and hurt them and everything. And usually they go for the stealth the first time. I'll pop them with Technobabble, so they're stuck there for 5 seconds doing that crap. And then when they're getting ready to come out, I will hit them with Sikkim. And then they can't stealth for 4 more seconds. I have literally killed a thief that was not able to stealth the entire fight. He was 100% to 0 dead. Like, could not stealth, could not do anything. Just sat there, really. I felt bad for him, but hey, he's a thief. So in general, that's the TB build. There's not a whole lot to it. It's basically a single target CC build. Think of it kind of like a match between a warrior and a condition ranger, I guess. Um, you can do it with multiple setups. I've ran it with cleric's gear. Cleric's gear kills really slow. It's got a little more sustainability, but cleric's gear is not super great for it. You'll survive a while, but it takes forever to kill anything. So if you're going to do anything, I recommend that you mix and match with clerics on celestial to pick up on condition damage and on your crit damage. That's a huge increase from not having any. I mean, well, you'll have some, I guess, because you'll have the 30 in there, but I recommend that entirely to go for that. You can drop this off and not use it and use something else. Predator's Instinct might be decent next patch, I don't know. Signet Mastery would actually be decent if they got rid of Signet of Beastmaster. This right here. If they got rid of this, this would actually be really good along with that. Keen Edges, you can use Keen Edges. That works just fine. I mean, there's not a huge difference. Steady Focus is fine. Beastmaster's Bond, I don't know about that. It's got a long cooldown for one, and it's only a little bit of Fury and a little bit of Might. Not really that great. But, yeah. Oh, and food, you make sure you use condition food, because your condition damage is going to be low, despite the setup's only like 700 or low, so this will get up to about 900, which is perfectly fine, and with the you ever get guard killer, that'll bump it up to 1,000, which that'll do you just fine for what you're doing, basically. Especially since I'm not using confusion anymore. If you're using confusion, it's always really nice to have the perplexity runes, but then it goes up to, I think it's like 1,000, like 100 or so, which is not that bad for condition damage wise. This is the updated BM bunker part of the video. Um, I wanted to show you some of the slight changes that I've made to maybe like, I guess, my armor setup and like what abilities I use and everything in rune set. As you can see, I have a lot more HP now than the previous builds. This is because I've actually switched over to dire armor. As you can see, nice toughness, vitality, and condition damage. This actually has increased my condition damage. I know you're looking at it, I don't have it set up right now, but it's a lot more than it used to be. I'm using the weapons as well and such. I'm still using apothecary jewelry though because I like it. I like having the extra healing power. It's almost 900 I think, or close to it when I have like all the points in the line. But as you can see, I'm using Superior Rune of the Speed. You can use Traveler Runes. It's not a huge difference. I mean, it's a little bit more condition damage, but mainly I like the extra vitality, and this is also cheaper. I don't want to spend the extra cash for something that's not a huge stat increase on the stats that I really want. The swiftness, it's not that great. I mean, you can get by. Basically, you're just going for the 6 points and the vitality increase. That's all you're going for. On the spec, it's still pretty much the same. You go 30 points in wilderness because that is the bread and butter, pretty much a bunker in this game. This is going to get nerfed, as you know. Let's see, muddy terrain. I always pick muddy terrain. Offhand training, pretty much always. I will never not choose offhand training when I have 2 offhand weapons. That is such a great ability. It increases the damage. Well, it increases the range on this right here, which that's useful right there. And it lowers the cooldown as well on both your evade and your throw. It increases the radius of this. I mean, look at that right there. And then I'm going to take it off and I'm going to show you how big it looks without that. We'll go put it on, say, O-Cart, which, I don't know, this needs more than what it has. If you're watching our internet, that regen is never going to get picked, ever. So look at that. That's pathetic. So, yeah. That's really good. Lowers the cooldown, makes this much better. Yeah. Peak strength. EB pretty much always going to be used unless we get some more condition removal. Bark scan, they're changing this next patch to 50%. A lot of people are like, oh, this ain't going to be used because we have to use EB and everything. This right here is more, a lot of people don't understand, this right here is more of a PvE talent, believe it or not. So that 50% increase is actually really good for PvE. I mean, I don't do a lot of PvE, but I'm not going to say that was a horrible change. That's actually a really good change for them. Beast Mastery, Mighty Swap, but I think before I was using either probably, I think it was Compassion Training or Commanding Voice. Those are both good talents right now. When they do the changes, Mighty Swap instantly becomes the best. It's 15 seconds of extra power and condition damage. You cannot just pass that up. In fact, you could probably take this in the future and say, well, yeah, you could technically take this and drop this in the TB build and use this coming. I mean, that you'd get the same amount of power, but you'd get slightly more healing power, and you'd get 105 more condition damage. So that could actually be a pretty good change for the TB build as well. Loud whistles. A lot of people don't think this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. This can determine when your pet dies and when it doesn't die. 20 points in. I choose Intimidation Training. A lot of people say, why would you choose Intimidation Training? Because it's a cripple. Now, the cripples might not seem like super great, but it covers your conditions. And covering your conditions is what you want to do. Now, look at this. This is Weakening Venom. This is why I use spiders. This thing is going to apply a vulnerability, and that's on cover conditions. It's going to apply a crap ton of weakness, because as you can see, it does, well, it goes your next 2 attacks weaken to make them, so that goes off twice. So it's going to pop twice basically. It's going to give you a long quickness that, a weakness that will go along with this one right here as well. and it will apply cripple twice. That's 14 seconds of cripple just from that. You go over here to your other one, and it's poison. More poison, more covering conditions. Also, 21 seconds of cripple because it does next 3 attacks. So, yeah, that's a crap. You can pretty much chain cripple someone with this build. Why you would not do that, I do not know. I enjoy doing it. It's literally the only way I can kill Necros now. Necros are extremely dangerous with this build. The way I generally fight them is I will sit there and I will kite them around. But I'll just set my pet attack them, then I'll move in and maybe throw like torch throw and then like this every now and then, and just kite them around until I get them low enough so I can kill them. And because they can only really remove the conditions like when they heal. I mean, and that heal has a fairly decent cooldown. It's not super long, but it's not super short either. So you can just keep applying that, and annoying the hell out of them. I still go 30 points in Beast. So you can go Zephyr Speed. If it was maybe 5 seconds, it actually wouldn't be that bad. Mainly for the pet, but 3 seconds is not super great. Natural Healing still really good. I still go 10% Marksman. I mean 10 in Marksman for where's that? Malicious Training, because that improves pets. You definitely want to do that. Signets, I still use Signet of the Wild. Lightning Reflexes, gotta have it for warriors. I've been using Misfire Wolf. That's really good. Muddy Terrain is not super bad. I mean, I don't really like it too much. I've been using it with like this new like targeting system, which makes it a little bit better. Generally, I will actually use Sikkim. Now, I'll use Sikkim or whatever just because I like to screw with thieves, and screwing with thieves is my main enjoyment in this game still. You can also use Signet of Renewal. Like if I come across a Necro, I'll usually switch to Signet of Renewal. Sharpening Stone will work. Hell, you can even use these still. I mean, Technobabble might only be 3-second days, but it's an interrupt. You can use Signet of the Stone if you want to. It means extra toughness. There's not a whole lot you can't use. Traps you probably won't use. You definitely won't use that. Guard, you won't use this unless you go the 30 Natures build, which is the Shout Rangers build and everything. You basically drop this and you go up here and you get where's that? No, Nature's Voice. Shouts applied regeneration swiftness. This is actually a really good build. It's really hard to take on. The only way that I found that it actually works against is if you kill the pet. That's really the only way you can stop them. They can actually run. I'll show you the other armor setup that I actually run with this build. I run the healing setup, but I run an antitoxin with that setup. Fox actually told me about this. He's actually running this now, and it actually works really well with that setup because they don't really need Signet of the Hunt. They don't really need Signet like the speed runes or anything. So antitoxin makes them a little bit more bunkier. They gain the might and everything, which that's improved with the Nature's line even better, like for duration. So that's pretty good for them. You can run setups like this. You can run Perplexity runes, Forge runes, Dwayne runes, Traveler runes. It doesn't really matter. They all work fairly well. As you can see, these are settler weapons and apothecary weapons is what these are. I generally still use the dire ones though. Pets. Yeah, only time I really switch my pets is when I come to like a camp or anything. I usually switch over to the 2 drakes and everything just because they got a lot of AoE damage and it helps me kill the camps faster. Spiders aren't really there for damage. They're more there just to cover my conditions and be annoying as hell. Let's see if there's anything else that's changed. I think that's pretty much it. The only thing you can really change right now is you can technically drop this 10 points in Marksman and put it over to Nature's. I mean, that still works pretty good. I mean, you have pretty good talents. I mean, Nature's Protection is still pretty good. It's not as needed anymore because when you dodge now, you get the protection after you evade, which is actually pretty good. I ain't finding myself really like hurting for protection. Plus, I have a crap ton more HP than I did before, so not a huge deal. You could technically drop Beast and go put 10 points in there. You could put 20 points in here if you really wanted to, and pick up Evasive Purity. I mean, that's some condition removal, but it's got 10-second cooldown. It removes Blind and Poison. I mean, if it removed like more than that, maybe it'd be worthwhile. They're improving. Where's it at? Enlargement next patch. This is supposed to get the improvement of. It's going to like, I think it's 60 seconds or whatever. And it's basically going to be the Sign of the Wild active. When I reach 25% health, which is very rarely, mind you, my pet will get this. Now, they say, but you'll also, if you go Sign to Beastmaster, you'll also get it. That's 50 points that you have to invest just to get this to work on yourself. This needs to be removed right here if this ever wants to be used, because it's not worth taking. And the damage threshold needs to go up. 25% life is very, very low for what, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna use for damage, and most other people ain't gonna use it for damage. If you go to 25% life, the only reason you want this ability is because it gives you a 50% movement increase and stability, because you're gonna be hauling ass out of there. But that's all that's changed really with the build. I hope you enjoy the guide. I mean, if you have any questions, leave them. I will answer them best as I can. Oh, I'm still using the nourishments of the condition duration and increase condition damage. But just leave me a message if you want to. Thank you.